Hello and welcome. This is Goody Graphics. Welcome to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you background manipulation. Today's video is dedicated to teach you how you can manipulate backgrounds whenever you are designing in the Pixellab app. Now, it is very important for you to know how to manipulate backgrounds, because there are many times you're going to be designing and you will need to create a particular kind of background that your design will require, and many a times you will need to learn how to the elements you'll be using in your design, you will need to learn how to utilize them in such a way that they work hand in hand with the background that you are using. So let's go straight into the lesson for which this video has been made. Now, when you open your Pixellab, this is how the interface looks like. So in your tools, when you look at the bottom of the screen, there is a tool right here. There are various tools you have. So right here you have your background tool, which looks like two squares with curved edges merged together, overlaid on each other. So when you select your background tool, what you see there is color, transparent, image, size, crop, image, from gallery, etc., and from camera. Now you need to know how to use these tools. Now under color here, it helps you to color your background, and here is where background manipulation comes in, because sometimes when you want to select a color for your background, you need to consider the elements that you are going to be using in your design. Take for instance, you are using a picture, for instance. Let me quickly import a picture just to show you what I am talking about. Okay, let me quickly import a picture, an image whose background I've already removed. Let's say I select this image, for instance. Now let's say I'm about to work on a design using this image. Now I will need to, my background will need to harmonize with this particular image that I am using. So in choosing a color for my background, I will need to choose a color that blends or that works well with this particular element that I'm going to be using. So how do I do that? There are two ways I can color my background. So let's go back to our background tool. Under color, you have your color, which helps you to apply a solid plain color to your background. You can select here and just change the color. Then under gradient, you can apply a blend of colors. And many a times in background manipulation, you will need to know how to use the gradient tool. Now when you open the gradient tool, you see there are several options at the top here, several gradient fields that allows you to apply different forms of gradient fields to your design. So let's say I select this. Now it helps me to apply a gradient fill from the left to the right. If I select this, it helps me to apply gradient fill from the top to the bottom. This is at an angle, this from the center to the edge, and then this from bottom to top, and same with this. So if I want to apply, let's say gradients, let me use this just to show you background manipulation. So I select this part because there are two, I'm blending two colors. Just let's say you want to use three colors, you just tap the plus sign at the bottom here, and you are going to add another color node to your color line that will enable you to select a third color for your background. So let me quickly minus that, take that out. So I select this first color node right here, and then I click on color. So I can either choose from the colors on my color wheel here, or I can select a color from the particular element that I want to use in my design. Take for instance, I have an image on this on my canvas already that I intend to use for design. So how do I go about selecting the perfect blend of color that will match with the image that I want to use in my design? So I simply click on this tool that looks like a pipette right here. This tool will bring out all of the elements that I have that are present within my design canvas. So I can simply select this image. So I want to select a blend of colors from this image that will allow for a perfect blend, for a perfect agreement between my background and this image. So I'm just going to select this part of our cloth, and you see that the color appears right here. I click OK. So I have that as the blend for my color at the top, and then I click on this other color point right here, and I click on color. I do the same thing. This time I'm going to select an aspect of her face just to get another blend of color. So as I do that, you discover I've been able to get a blend of color that looks such as a bit kind of golden yellow or golden brown kind of. So as I click that, okay, you see I've been able to apply that feel to my background. So you see, with this I've been able to achieve a perfect blend, get a good background for my design. So let me just move this image to back, and then this text right here. So with this, someone seeing this may think that this image came alongside with this background. Someone may not know that I created this particular background to suit this this image that I'll be using for my design. So with this I've been able to create a good blend for my image. So next thing, when you are working with backgrounds, how do you blend images into background? Because that is one of the things you need to learn when it comes to background manipulation. So let's say I'm working on a social media flyer and I want this image, let's say, to be part of my background, for instance, and having created this perfect color blend that agrees with my image, let's say I want to fade this image such that it becomes part of the background. There are several tools that you can utilize to do that. So you just come under, and mainly the tools that you use are your color filters, and then your opacity, and then you can also use your erase tool, your eraser. Yes. So I'm just going to apply under my color filter. You can, let's say, you see I can adjust the hue and the saturation of this image. So let's say this image does not perfectly blend with the background the way I desire. I can simply adjust the hue and or the saturation, the brightness or the contrast in such a way that it aligns perfectly with my background. And then once I have done that, I maybe can come to my opacity and, you see, blend that in. So once I've done that, you see, this image in a way has been able to sink into the background. But there is a way I can do this in such a way that it looks like a perfect blend between the image and the background. Now you will need to know how to utilize this lesson I'm teaching you, especially when you are working on church flyers. When you are designing church flyers, sometimes, let's say the theme of the program you are designing for is let's say is a women's convention, in which you will need maybe images of women faded into the background, maybe women that are worshiping faded into the background. You will need to learn how to do this kind of manipulation such that there is a perfect blend between your background and whatever image you want to use, you intend to add in order to create a background for your design. So having created an opacity for this, let's say there are other things I can do here just to make my image perfectly blend with my background. This is all background manipulation. I can come under my shape tool here, there is sticker, and once I touch that, you discover that something like a blurry object image appears here. So now I want to use this blurry object just to create a kind of effect that will help my image blend perfectly into the background. So what do? I just I'm not going to select any sticker, so I just touch any part of my screen right here. Once I do that, this image, this blurry object remains on my screen. So now this blurry image, I can use it as a design element. So with this now, I can simply come under my color. Under my color, I select color and I enable. You see, by enabling, I can select any color I want for this. So I'm going to come to gradient and use the same color blend that I use for my background. And once I do that, you see, so let's just say I overlay it on this aspect on the left hand side of her face, so that it looks as though that part aspect of her face is faded into the background. So I click OK. What am I going to do? I'm just going to copy this again, and I'll continue overlaying it. I'm going to continue copying, and I'll just arrange that on the left hand side. Copy, copy, copy. Okay, I keep on copying. I keep on copying, and then just place this right here. So at the end of the day, I can merge all of these objects right here if I choose to. So with this, you can see I've been able to create a perfect blend. Let's say a background. So I can just simply come and say, let's say social media. Social media. Let me choose a font for this. I like working with Gotan black. Then align this to the middle. Okay, centralize this, and then I just place this here. So you see, with this now, I can just begin placing my text over this. So just in case you want to work on in order to avoid maybe as you play around your design canvas, so that your fingers, as you touch some points on your screen, it does not affect the position of the elements you used in creating your background, you can simply lock all of those things. You can lock all of those objects. And what happens when you lock all of those objects is that as you touch them, they are no longer going to they become immovable. They are no longer going to move from the position where they are. So having locked all of that, you discover that even as I move my hand over the screen, my images remain fixed. So just the object that I have not locked is the object that I can play around with. So with this, I've been able to create a background. So quickly, let me just press the return key, undo all of the functions I did so that I can just show you something. Now you see this. Let's say I want to blend this image into this background. Let's say just the lower part of this image. The lower part, I want to blend it in such a way that it blends with the background. I can simply click on the image and come to my erase. So I'm going to increase this. This is going to create blur. This is the tool for the blur effect. I'm going to intensify it, and then this is the size of the eraser. Let me just make that big. So I'm going to erase. You notice that as I erase, the edge tends to be kind of blurry. So I select that. You see? So I can use my sticker, that same blurry object on my sticker, and then let me color it with same color, and with that I can keep on copying and just placing it right there on the edge, because I want the edge to look to blend perfectly with my background. Okay, so this is how you can, this is all part of background manipulation. So you see that the more I do this, it now looks as though this image, you see that the edge somehow blends into the background. So with this I can create a design. So what other aspects of background manipulation do you need to know? So let's say I'm using an image, an object. Let's say I'm importing an external background into my design Canva to create the particular background that I desire to use for my design, because what I've just showed you is how to utilize the gradient color fill in order to do background manipulation in such a way that it works hand in hand with the design elements, especially the images you'll be using for your design. But let's say you are importing a downloaded background, maybe a background you downloaded from a site which you intend to use for your design. Let me just clear all of this. So let me change the color of my background back to white. So let's say I'm importing, I want to create a background myself, and I'm not planning to use the color fill. So let's say this is the downloaded background that I want to use for my design, for instance. Let's say I just enlarge this such that it fills the background, and then so place this here. Let me lock this so that it does not interfere as I move my fingers across the screen. And then let's say I import an image. Let's say I'm about creating a church flyer. Let me import an image that I want to blend into the background. Okay. Okay, this is an image that looks more like a worship scene. So let's say I want to create a background for a worship maybe meeting for a church flyer that I intend to work on now, and I want to create a background. So let's say, you know, for me to blend this image into my background, the color of this particular image and the color of my background, of the image I'm using for my background, somewhat they need to harmonize. So that is where I will have to look for a way to make the color of this image harmonize with the color of the other image behind. So what do? I come under my filters. So I can adjust the hue, say the saturation, and all of that. I can adjust the contrast, the brightness, and all of that to achieve that. But let's go for opacity first. Let me just cancel this operation right here. Opacity. Make this like this. Opacity. Let's just make this opacity, make this 15. So you'll notice that the edge of this image is still kind of visible on such that it still doesn't blend perfectly with the background. So what am I going to do? I'll use my erase tool, my eraser, just to this helps me to blur. I will increase the blur to the highest. Let me just make this size of my eraser this. So I'm going to the edges of this design. I'm just going to apply the eraser on the edges because I want to achieve somewhat like a blur around the edges. Now with this, to a degree, I've been able to achieve having my image to fade a bit into the background, but still yet it's not done perfectly. So let me come to my color filters and adjust this a bit. Increase the hue. Is there a way I can do it in such a way that this image sinks perfectly into the background? So let me just increase maybe the saturation, reduce the brightness, and then maybe okay. the opacity, reduce it a bit. So now you see, okay, so you'll notice that the image has still not perfectly blended with our background. So what next do we do? Let's utilize our sticker tool. So as I click on my sticker, you see that blurry image appears yet on the screen. So by touching any part of my screen, I isolate that particular blurry image. So I just increase it. So I'm going to color this blurry image in such a way that it will allow for me to be able to make this image fade into the background. So what do? I'm going to use the coloring, the colors already present within my background to create a color for this blurry image. So under my color, activate. Let's say I use under gradient color. Okay, let me select this. So I select this. Let me select this particular color here. Okay, since we want this is the part that needs to blend, let me select this particular color here. And then for this other part, I'm going to select this color right here. And then okay. So as I do that, I can now place this. I'm just going to duplicate this. So I keep on copying and overlaying, copying and overlaying. As I do that, you discover that the edge is gradually fading as though it's a part of the background. So copy, 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 copy. So now, let me just merge all of these tools together so that they become one. Let me merge this. So now, you discover that I've been able to create a background. By merging all of this has become as though it is one image. Now it will be difficult for you to tell that these were two separate images that I blended into one in order to use for my design. This is simply background manipulation. So with this now, I can begin laying out my text on this image for my design. So this is what the concept of background manipulation involves. So lastly, in this video, so let me just clear this. Lastly, in this video, let's say my background, let me change the color of my background to okay, let me use this particular gradient. Now there is another tool. There are two tools in your Pixellab that actually affect your background. This particular one right here, and then this particular one right here at the bottom. This is actually a filter, and it helps you to apply filters to your background. So here you have rotate, which allows you to rotate your background. Here you have Viegna, and you see, by doing that you can apply Viegna to your background. You have noise. There's a way you can make your background noisy a bit, such that it has such kind of a kind of texturized look. There is stripe. There is brightness. With that you can increase the brightness. There is contrast, and there is hue. With hue, you can change the hue of the particular color you have chosen for your background. There's saturation, which helps you to increase the saturation or the chroma of your background. So these are the two tools you need to understand when you are working alongside with background. When you are dealing with images that you intend to utilize in creating background, you will need to work with the shape tool, the image tool, which allows you to import images into your background. I've already shown you how you can create a perfect blend between images that you intend to use for your background. So that is it for background manipulation. This video is not exhaustive. There are other many for you to be a master at background manipulation. You will need to practice and on your own, and subsequently there are more videos that I'll be creating that will teach you more about background manipulation. But with this, you should be able to come up with excellent and wonderful designs in your graphic design. Thank you for watching, for staying through to the end of this video. Please kindly subscribe, like this video, and click on the share button in order to allow your friends and other graphic designers and those who are interested in learning about background manipulation profit from the lessons that I have taught in this video. Thank you for watching.